Senator, thank you so much for joining us.
It's good to be on, Chris.
So whether it's there in D.C. or when you go back home to Illinois, people are going to say to you, so is that it, Senator? Is everything just broken? There is no more anything but politics. Is that it? Even the Senate has fallen. The House has fallen. The president, we just can't trust you guys anymore. What are you going to tell people?
Well, I'm going to tell them there's still good people here and we're still working hard, that the truth will come out, and that we still must uphold the Constitution, that I intend on getting up every single day like I have my entire adult life and living by the oath that I've sworn from the time I was in the Army to now to protect and defend this Constitution.
The hard sell here is senators are coming out on the Republican side now and saying what they would never have said until it was convenient. Look, what he did was wrong. Look, what he did was probably impeachable. What he did was impeachable, but probably not removable. I mean, this was wrong, but, it's really too much for removal. And that makes it all the worse. Lamar Alexander saying, listen, you should decide, Mr. and Mrs. America, but them all voting after saying it's wrong to not give people access to the witnesses and proof. What's worse than that?
Well, I think it is really a perversion of our processes here in this country. Imagine if there was a murder trial that was going on and somebody gets up and says, hey, I was in the room and I saw who committed the murder, and then you vote to not allow that witness to come testify in the trial. Americans know that that is absolutely wrong. And I don't think history will judge my colleagues very kindly who voted against allowing for witnesses.
The legacy they seem to be concerned most with is the legacy of how the president felt about them. I mean, is this just proof positive that Trump is the most powerful presence in Republicans' lives?
Well, I think so. As far as Republicans are concerned, he's got some sort of a hold over them. And it's unfortunate because now they're putting this president and party ahead of the people. And that's simply not the oath that any of us took when we all swore the oath to become senators and also to become impartial jurors in this trial.
Now, you are not the best person to ask this question because your life is a testament to bravery and not letting people tell you what to be afraid of or what to back away from. But how do you explain how a president who checks almost none of the boxes of what that party is supposed to care about has this kind of power over them where they won't even vote for what they know 75% of the country wants?
I can't tell you why this president has that kind of power over my colleagues. You're going to have to ask them that. I just think that at some point...
They're too scared to tell me.
You got to be able to stand up. I mean, they must be afraid of they worry about the election year. Well, I think they need to be worried for November of this year, because I don't think the people of this country are satisfied with having representation where their senator is voting to not have witnesses and evidence. And, the truth will come out. The truth will come out, and I think it's going to come out over the next weeks and months as more and more of Mr. Bolton's book is leaked, as more and more evidence comes out from Lev Parnas and all sorts of folks. The truth will come out, and those who voted against allowing the American people to see the evidence, they will be judged poorly.
It is a much more dangerous vote than the acquittal vote, I think, in any estimation, because it shows you were afraid of the truth. Now, criticism for the process going forward. Why don't the Democrats just let this end? That's it. You're not going to get witnesses. You know they're going to acquit. Why do we have to spend days on this?
Well, we're not in charge of the process. That's the problem. This was Mitch McConnell's call. He decided to do this.
Right.
And so we this was an internal fight within the Republican Party. We had no say in this process whatsoever. And as you saw in the 4 votes that we took tonight, it's very partisan and very party line.
It is now 64 troops have been affected by TBI after the shelling at that base in Iraq, of course, done by Iran. The president said, yeah, I heard about the headaches. They're not as bad as a lot of the other injuries I've seen. What do you think of that?
I think the president is absolutely wrong in this case. And let me just say something about traumatic brain injury. It is the hidden wound of the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. Over 30% of the troops who served in Iraq, especially during the Battle for Fallujah, came home with traumatic brain injuries. These are lifelong injuries that will occur and will actually be compounded throughout these people's lives. And our troops need to know that they need to go and get help. This is a real wound. And I cannot believe the Commander-in-Chief of our military would undermine literally years and years of hard work by veterans, advocates, medical professionals, and the DoD itself in trying to make sure our troops get help for their wounds that they received in combat.
Until you start balancing that interest against what looks good for him politically, and we see once again, even our fighting men and women, they will fall victim to being on the wrong side of the president's interest in this case. Senator Duckworth, thank you so much for doing this interview at such an important time.
Thanks for having me on.